Hey folks, this is Zach. I've shaved my face and look like a child now, and I'm on my way out to the woods. Today, I want to talk about something we grew up calling common courtesy, but these days, I think you might call it uncommon courtesy. So, why am I talking about this now? Well, last night, I live in an apartment, and around 12 o'clock, someone decided to play some music. And by music, I mean very loud, repetitive bass at top volume. I'm sure there must have been at least 300 or 400 people who could hear it at 12 o'clock while people are trying to sleep. And that went on for about 30 minutes before they finally stopped. Now, why would someone do that? What makes someone think that they should play music so loud that it keeps hundreds of other people awake at midnight? I don't know. But I definitely got raised to not do things like that. I grew up thinking that was a normal thing. Like, you learn to be polite and courteous. Hold the door for people. Don't play loud music without headphones at night. Stuff like that. But I started noticing there's a lot of discourtesy these days. Now, I'd like to think I'm a person who does not get bothered easily, but I'll be honest, loud noises that shouldn't be happening do bother me. And the thing that offends me the most, I think, or used to, I wear earplugs every night now. I can't deal with that anymore. Lawnmowers and leaf blowers. I understand that the people who use them are generally just working for a company and not getting paid very much. Not their fault. But I have plenty of problems with leaf blowing in general, just from an environmental standpoint. But I can't imagine the sort of what goes through someone's head if they're just like a normal homeowner. It's a Sunday, everyone's day off, and they say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to mow the lawn at 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't get many chances to do it, right? And all their neighbors must be thinking, wow, this is one of my 2 days off where I could sleep in. And this prick is using a lawnmower early in the morning so I can't sleep in. Where is his courtesy? Where is like the most basic sense of human decency in this person? I think this is quite a bit of a problem these days. Oh, there's a raven up above me. People just don't care for the most part. A lot of people, at least. You will see people just toss trash on the ground. Cigarette smokers are the worst offenders with that, just throwing cigarette butts everywhere. A few years ago, I think 5 or 6 years ago, we had a wildfire start out in the woods because someone was driving and threw their burning cigarette butt out the window, and it started a fire that burned down quite a lot of forest. Incredible, right? But I remember as a kid one time, my stepdad made me go out and pick up all the cigarette butts off the ground in this parking lot that he had his business in, and there were hundreds of them. But it's not just them. I remember being on campus, and over here we have trash cans, and next to every trash can is a recycling bin. People will take their plastic bottles right into the trash can. There's a recycling bin not 2 feet away, and straight into the trash can. No cares whatsoever about like doing the most easy thing you can to not be a burden on the rest of the world. Now, I'd understand if it was a cultural thing. I spent a little while in India, and I was on a train at one point. I looked for a trash can, couldn't find it. I asked one of the locals, where do I put my food wrappers? He took it from me, tossed it right out the door of a moving train. And that sort of defined my experience in India. Not many trash cans around. But here, when we have them everywhere, how much effort is it, especially on nature trails and stuff? I'm about to be hiking. We're going to see a lot of trash in the water and on the banks. But you're out in the middle of a trail. What makes you think, good, I'm going to just throw all my plastic wrappers on the ground? No reason for me to carry them in my pocket to the nearest trash can. That would be too hard. And we've come to a bridge. They put up barricades, and they've actually put handcuffs on the barricades to lock them on. Don't know why. It's not that dangerous of a bridge, but I'm gonna go around it, try to get into the hiking trail, I guess through the other side. I can't really get past that without making a nuisance of myself. And here we are. You got a squirrel up in the tree there running around. I'm gonna try to make my way down this slope into the ravine. I got sandals on. I can roll my pants up. I'm going to do a little hike while I talk. Try not to fall over though. But yeah, speaking of nuisance, a lot of people just don't seem to care about inconveniencing other people. So I'm on a school campus right now, University of Florida, and in the years that I've been out of the country, some businesses have started that provide scooters for people, little electric scooters. And you just have an app on your phone, you scan it on a scooter you find outside, and you ride it somewhere, then leave it on the ground. It's supposed to be off the sidewalk, of course, but people leave these scooters right in the middle of the sidewalk. You're walking at night, you trip over something, ouch, that's a scooter, middle of the sidewalk. Someone's just left it there because they don't care. Had to get to class on time, I guess. Didn't have time to prop it up. And it's stuff like that. Almost fell down the slope. Stuff like that that makes me worry about society a bit. Stuff where it's not an accident, but people have just gone out of their way to cause a problem. For example, I walked into a public bathroom the other day, and the one toilet in there was full of paper. By full, I mean they have taken like a pound of toilet paper and put it in there. It was ridiculous. There's no way they were using that. They just want to clog it up for whatever reason. And I pity the poor person who had to clean it afterwards. That would not be pleasant. And I see a lot of that in America. People throwing trash on the ground, people playing loud music in public, at times when you shouldn't have loud music playing. People just generally causing disturbances and disrupting other people's lives for no reason. It's not just America though. I said when I was in India, I mean the culture there is throw trash on the ground. But even when I was in other countries, I have very, I won't say fond memories of living in Malaysia. I did like living there, but I stayed in one guest house, sort of a small hotel, and all sorts of cool stuff happened there. But the thing I remember most is an older Malaysian man who would smoke cigarettes in the hallway outside the dormitories where everyone sleeps, and how the air conditioning system worked. All that smoke would get sucked into the dormitories and blow out above all of us as we were sleeping in our face. And the one time I went out and asked him, dude, please stop smoking here. Smoke outside, smoke downstairs. He threatened to have his boys beat me up. Then I threatened to beat him up. Then we shook hands and it was okay. But I think that's the closest I've come to having a fight when I was overseas. Just because I asked this dude to stop smoking where everyone else was sleeping. Which sounds like a pretty normal request, right? Like, it's the most disgusting smelling cigarettes you've ever smelled. Like unfiltered trash cigarettes. And all I did was ask him to stop smoking them where we were sleeping at night. And he couldn't even do that. Like, there's just no common courtesy in some places. There's no looking at the person next to you and thinking, maybe I shouldn't make their life worse for no reason, when I could easily do what I want to do without hurting other people. And you know, I'd like to think that most of that is, well, the previous generations. Like, you know, the older sort of boomer generation, a lot of their culture was based on, you know, being better than your neighbor, having more stuff, having better speakers, better car, better house, not caring so much about their life as long as it was less good than yours. I'm hoping that our generation is, I'm getting stuck in some bushes here. Hoping our generation is going to change that a bit, show a bit more courtesy to other people, but I'm not sure if that'll happen. For one real reason. I've been talking about all sorts of things that inconvenience other people, usually indirectly, like the music's too loud, stops you from being able to sleep, trash on the ground, stops you from enjoying nature as much, smoking makes you not be able to sorry, I'm gonna cut myself off, I found a spider. These sandals are not great for water, but here we go, big old spider here. See if I can poke him. Nope, he doesn't like being poked. Okay. But yeah, I was saying, I think there's one thing in particular that makes me worry that our generation will end up being just as sort of rude and discourteous. Oh, sort of deep in the water here. Rude and discourteous as the other ones that are still alive. And that is punctuality. Like showing up on time. I have some very good friends. They've helped me out in some bad situations. There's nothing I like more than spending time with them, but my God. When we agree to meet up at a certain time and they consistently, like without fail, show up half an hour late or worse, at least 15 minutes late, almost every time. I think, like, do you care at all about my time? Like, I could have slept in. I could have been doing something during that time I was waiting. Like, when I say I'm going to be there at a certain time, I am there. I'm there on time or within 5 minutes, earlier or later. I got raised that way. I thought that was normal until I had a big enough friend group that I was like, oh, half of these people don't show up when they say they will. And that's incredible to me, because all the people I know in the older generation, the boomers, the ones who a lot of us make fun of for being rude to just normal people, when they say they're going to be there, I'll give them this: they are there. If my grandpa said he was going to meet you at 5 o'clock p.m., he will be there 5 minutes till 5. I don't think I've ever met an older person who actually like showed up late when they said they'd be there at a certain time. And if they do show up late, they apologize for it profusely. That's the one thing I feel like they have on our generation in terms of politeness. But this is sort of a depressing video, I guess. Just all about how courtesy has died. But I think we still have a chance. I think at worst, our generation is more aware of things, aware of how people treat each other than a lot of other generations were in the past. So if all else fails, I think when we have kids, we will raise them to be more virtuous than our generation and all the other ones. I think our kids' generation is going to be the one that does what's needed to sort of save society. Anyway, folks, I'm going to keep hiking here. Probably record another video. If you're watching this and you notice that you do any of those things I just said, and I've been guilty before. I played loud music before. I've had a neighbor bang on the wall like, turn your music down. Like, oh, sorry, I didn't realize you could hear that. If you're guilty of any of that stuff, think about other people, you know? Like, the headphones exist for a reason. Trash cans exist for a reason. Clocks and alarms and everything else exists for a reason. Just think about other people before you inconvenience them or do something impolite. Anyway, folks, peace out. I'll see you all next time.